In the previous lesson, we saw how we can build our model in ZBRUSH or Sculpt and define what's the overall shape, but also add some details. Everything started with a single Z-spheres, and then we created kind of a rough Z-spheres model. And from this model, we created a skin, and which is basically a mesh. And then from that skin, using the standard brush and the move brush, so the really basic brush, and then by changing the size of the brush, we started to sculpt and create a more defined 3D model, which is still not a pretty defined model. We don't have like really fine details, but we are kind of getting from the overall shape. We created like a draft models, concept design, concept character design, and then we are slowly moving into more details. But we're gonna talk about detailing later. In this video, I wanna show you a couple of extra tips here in the lightbox first. So we saw that we have different types of mannequin that we can use, and we can use mannequins to like create a concept for a scene, or we can use it as a base mannequin to build then on top of that our model. So in this video we're gonna use a mannequin, and we're gonna or another Z-sphere to create our model. In the previous video we already changed the standard mannequin into something more customized, and we use also Z-spheres to create some models using Z-spheres, some rough models. Now in this video, again, I want to show you some extra tips before we move into more complex topics and more detailing. So I want to show you again from the lightbox that you don't only have the possibility to use like standard human form mannequins like here, but you also have some animals. And for example, you have a hand. So if you need to understand better how Z-spheres and mannequins work, just open up this template and study them and see how they have been developed. So it's kind of a long process to learn and to experiment with all this stuff. But also here we have another folder which is called Z-spheres, and you can have additional models in here. And so you can see that you're not limited to human shapes, to human characters. You can also create other type of characters, like this one here is a cave troll character. And press A to see right away the skin or the mesh that will result out of this combination of Z-spheres. And again, go there and study these models to understand how Z-sphere works a little bit better. Now you also have another folder here which is called Z-Zoo, and it has a lot of animals. So in the previous video we sculpted the gorilla, and well, actually there is a gorilla here, and also a lot of other models that we can use and or take inspiration from. So you can see here we have a gorilla, and it's probably interesting to see how the hands or the feet were made, and the other parts of the model. And you can see here how many animals we have. This is an elk, and well, in this video we're just gonna continue now to experiment with another sketching tool which is called ZSketch. Now to activate ZSketch you need to edit, press on the edit sketch, and then you need a Z-sphere. So we are starting again from a Z-sphere. So we're gonna take that from the subtools. There you go. So you can just click and drag, and you can see down there you can use ZMesh. So you can also click edit mesh and click and drag. So you're gonna have like this sphere to begin with, and then you can move from the draw mode into the edit mode. Now in the edit mode you can see that the brush now has become the sketch. So now we can start to sketch again our draft model, our concept character or concept, whatever it is, an alien or an animal, or like you can also sculpt like organic shapes like, I don't know, trees or plants. Just try to define again what's your rough shape is going to be. And then we will continue later to create the skin, to work with the topological part of your mesh or your surface and so on. So I'm just going to go here and sketch this kind of tentacles, or I don't know really what I want to do. Perhaps I want to do an octopus or whatever. So then if you click there, you have other additional brush, and if you hold shift, you also have here the smooth. So if you click and hold the shift key, you're gonna smooth things a little bit, and you can see there that this kind of a sphere tube is gonna be more smooth. And then you have Armature. Now Armature is gonna apply an extra layer, and this is we're gonna use that with a mannequin later, or with another model. And then you have Bulge. If you click, it's gonna increase, and if you alt click, it's gonna decrease the size of those spheres. So if I want to do tentacles, this could be good, so that these tubes don't have the same size, but they get like tapered on the tips. So that's another option. And then you have many different ways to smooth. So they're just gonna smooth differently the spheres. So just go there, select the different brush and try. Now you also have move. You can see it, you can move things around, and you can also scale and rotate. So the usual transpose tools can be used also in the ZSketch mode with these spheres. And again, we are trying to figure out what our shape is going to be before we actually get into the skin. Now, when you think you're ready, you can go to unified skin. So we're not using adaptive skin like these spheres, but we're using unified skin. But we have similar settings like resolution and the smooth and the polish. So depending how much you want to smooth, how much you want to polish, how much detailing you want. If you want more details, you're going to increase the resolution. And then you can click on preview. You also have again the transpose tool. You can apply all the tools that we already saw, deformation tools, transform tools. When you're ready, you click on make unified skin, and then you can proceed from there. So when your skin is ready, you're going to find it there in the tool. And then we can start, let's say, to use the standard brush again and start from the basics. So hold the shift key if you want to smooth things out, and just click and drag around with the shift and click. And then we can continue with topological, again, set up the size, try to readjust your shape, try to figure out how you want to create your model. And well, that's it. So let's say that this is good, and I want to also use the inflat. Now you will find many brushes that work not like in the details but on the overall shape, like inflat. So this is starting to look like an octopus or perhaps an alien, depending on what you want to do. And you see there are some defects. So usually when we start to move things around, when we start to move polygons, they usually stretch and they will not look too good. But we're going to see tools that are going to help you to fix that. So first of all, to fix this, we can use, you can see here, if I smooth in there, it's not going to solve the problem. So sometimes smooth is fine, but if smooth is not enough, we need to go in geometry and use other tools like ZRemesher, or we can go in the subtool and we can use the Remesh. So we're going to talk more about all these tools that you find in the subtools, but Remesh is definitely one of the most important because it's going to help you to remesh, essentially. So to recreate the mesh. So if you click, you can see now it created another mesh. So I can go in the subtools panel, deactivate the original mesh, and this is like the resulting mesh. And you can see it's also symmetrical. So when you want to recreate the symmetrical shape,